Welcome back, students. Today we are going to study about management being a science, art, or a profession. Why do we call management as a science, as an art, or profession? Is management a science? What do you think? Yes, we can say management a science. Why? Because the management principles are universally accepted. It is all the principles are experimented and observed. It shares a cause and effect relationship, and it stands the test of validity and prediction. Let's elaborate. Universally accepted principles. Yes, management principles are universally accepted, like Newton's law. It is accepted universally, right? Like if we say that solar system has 8 planets and all the planets revolve around the sun, it's a universally accepted principle. Similarly, management principles are also applicable to all types of organization, and they are accepted by all the schools of management. Experimentation and observation. In a science lab, we experiment so many things. We combine, we permute, and we come up with different types of observations, right? Similarly, management principles have also been developed through different types of experiments and practical experiences. Let's say we take the example of remuneration. Time and again, the system of remuneration have changed, right? When we do the next chapter or the next topics, I will elaborate on that part. But in olden days, the needs of human beings were less, so the remuneration was also less. But now our standard of living has changed, right? Therefore, our remuneration pattern has also changed, our perks pattern has also changed. So there are different changes, and we have to experiment those, and we have to share the observation, which happens in science also. Likewise, it happens in management also. Cause and effect relationship. Yes, of course, management shares a cause and effect relationship. Let's say your boss enters to your cabin and starts shouting on you. What would happen? Would you feel like working? No, of course, we will not feel like working. If we are not paid for our job well, do we feel like working? No, we don't feel like working, right? So, similarly, managing people is a cause and effect relationship, right? In science also, everything has a cause, and the outcome is based on that cause, right? Similarly, in every organization, the way the people are managed, the productivity or the efficiency is affected by the management of people or the management of work. Next is test of validity and predictability. Yes, of course, time and again, management principles have stood through the test of validity. If I give you an example of a principle known as harmony not discord, right? Harmony not discord has an universal application in any of the organization. In whichever organization you work, you have to be cooperative, you have to work in a coordinated fashion, you have to be harmonious. You cannot keep on fighting, neither you cannot be very arrogant when you work, you cannot be indisciplined, right? So this principle has stood the test of validity, and it has stood the test of time, right? So like many scientific principles have stood the test of time. It has been proved that sun has all the planets revolve around the sun. I would give that same example, right? So management principles are also tested time and again, and they prove to be valid. We cannot say that management is a complete science. Why we cannot say? Because management deals with people, right? And every human mind is different. Every human behavior is different. The way we react to a certain situation is different. Therefore, management is not a complete science, but a social science, a behavioral science, and a flexible science. Why flexible? Because management policies and the way to handle people depends on the way on the people you are working with, right? It deals with human resource, and it's very, very difficult to predict human mind and human behavior. That is why management is known as a flexible science. Now, students, is management an art? Yes, of course, management is also an art. Why? Because it requires practical knowledge, it requires a skill, it requires creativity, and it requires practice. Let's elaborate. Practical knowledge. Yes, all the every field rather every field has some kind of bookish knowledge, right? The knowledge which you gain from your book. But there are two types of knowledge. One is your bookish knowledge, the knowledge base, and the other one which we gain through experience and we gain through practical application, right? There are two types of knowledge. Again, I would repeat, one is from the book and one is practically when we do and when we learn, right? We can learn so many things, but we have to understand that when we apply those things, when we apply those skills, the result may be different according to different people. Like if I learn dance, I know there are so many mudras, I know there are so many actions, the hand movement and the leg movement, right? I may study about those things, but when I go on to apply it, it may give me different result, right? Similarly, in management also, we may study so many books on management, but when we go and apply that in different organization upon different people, we yield different results. Second is personal skills. We may have theoretical knowledge, we may have a lot of theoretical knowledge, but the way we apply that knowledge, it totally depends upon our personal skills, it totally depends upon our creativity and intelligence. It depends upon our personality, because every human being, as I told you, has a different mind, has a different thought process and a different way of applying skills. It depends on the personality of that person. Next is creativity. Of course, management is very, very creative. Whatever you learn from your books or whatever you learn in your college and in your school, the way you apply that depends on the intelligence and on the imagination. The way you perceive things, the way you apply things depends on your own creativity, on your own mind. Management, you obtain perfection in management through practice, like any other art, right? Like drawing, like painting. The more you paint, the more perfectionist you become. Similarly, when you keep on applying different types of management skills, you become a perfectionist. This is a conclusion wherein it says that we used to say that managers are born, but now according to the new school of management, we say that managers are made. Yes, of course, managers are made. Why? Because it depends on the intelligence, it depends on the creativity or the personality of the manager, whether the person is able to manage or not. Only by given the position of a manager, you cannot become a manager. You have to apply your knowledge, you have to know that how to handle the team which is working under you. Science and art are not mutually exclusive, but they are complementary to each other. Yes, of course, science and art are very, very complementary to each other. Art is the oldest form, management is the oldest form of art. The way, time and again, since the human races have come into existence, we are managing. All our kings and queens, our great leaders, have kept on managing us, right? So management is the oldest form of art and the youngest form of science. Is management a profession? Yes, of course, management is a profession. We work in organization, we call ourselves manager, right? So why is management, what is the reason behind management being called a profession? Because we require specialized knowledge, we require formal education and training, we have certain social obligations and code of conduct to be followed, right? Specialized knowledge, again I would tell you that there can be theoretical knowledge, right? But every manager must have that devotion and that kind of involvement to acquire the expertise in his or her field. I am being given a position of a manager, but it depends upon me that how do I apply that position, and how do I handle my people, how I earn my expertise, right? So you require a specialized knowledge of it, which comes through practical application. Formal education and training. Yes, of course, management requires a formal education and training like any other training, like CAs and doctors and lawyers. But management, there is no said degree or qualification that you have to study this and then only you can become a manager. But nowadays, these days, generally organizations, they prefer MBAs. That is why MBA is such an evident degree these days, right? To work in an organization, the required degree is to be an MBA, but still it is not as legalized as any other profession like a lawyer or a doctor. To become a doctor, you require an MBBS degree. To become a lawyer, you require a LLB degree, right? But to become a manager, there is as such there is no set degree. But yes, these days it has become very very popular that you do an MBA, and that gives you the leverage over other people applying for that position to become a manager. Next is social obligation. Any profession, be it a doctor, be it a lawyer, any profession has some social obligation, right? You work as a team. If your team doesn't perform, you cannot shirk yourself away. You cannot shirk your responsibility. I am a doctor, I am working in a hospital. If the patient doesn't get treated well, I cannot say that my nurse is not working or my ward boy is not working. I am a doctor, I have not been able to do that work, right? So I have to take that responsibility. So being a manager also, you have to take the responsibility for your team, right? And you have a social obligation towards the society in every capacity you work. Code of conduct. Though managers or management doesn't have a proper statutory body to define the code of conduct, but yes, like other statutory bodies of like Indian Medical Association, which gives license to the doctors, the Bar Council, which gives license to the lawyers, there is an organization called AIMA, All India Management Association, but it is not yet legalized. AIMA is not registered to grant a certificate or a license, right? So managers, they don't get license. Why? There is also a valid reason behind it, because managers can be everywhere. You work in a hotel industry, you can be a lobby manager. You work in a hospital, you can be a floor manager, right? So managers, we cannot categorize managers in for one profession only. Managers are everywhere. It's a very very general profession. Anybody who is managing any activity is a manager. Therefore they cannot be given a license like any other profession. But yes, there are certain code of conducts which are laid by AIMA, which is supposed to be followed by the manager. Any unethical practices are not entertained, right? Why is management not called a complete profession? Because there is no as such minimum qualification anywhere ruled out. It is not ruled out like doctors and lawyers. It is not ruled out that you have to be getting this degree to become a manager. But yes, it's an unsaid practice. MBAs are certainly given the position of managers. It does not restrict the entry in managerial jobs. Management association do not have, as I told you, they do not have any legal right or any authority to grant certificate or license for the practicing, right? Because managers are everywhere. In any area or in any organization you go, you would find one manager. Managers are of course known by their performance and not by degrees. Managers, a simple BCom graduate or a simple BSc graduate or a humanities graduate can be a manager. The person who is even not given a position, the person who is managing things properly is a manager. So manager's performance is shown by his work, not by the degrees. So students, thank you. We end the lesson over here. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much.